what really disturbs me about Kaepernick is the NFL has done him wrong. And what they did was they paid him to go away. They paid him to go away. Other players did the same thing he did, and they still have a job. Colin Kaepernick, they just paid him to run away.
That's not true.
It absolutely is true.
So they didn't hold a private workout for him? That his team, at the last minute, decided to move.
Let me ask you a question. You were
50 miles?
You were at the top of your game, okay? And then you were suspended for almost 3 years. 3 years of playing football. He was suspended. He would. Suspended. What do you call it then?
I mean,
what do you call it? He was suspended. Yeah, he was suspended.
Any team, you know why Colin Kaepernick didn't play in the NFL? He was
suspended, Tyler.
He wasn't that good.
No, wasn't that good? He was one play away from winning a Super Bowl. What are you talking about?
That game was a blowout.
He was really.
That Raven team dominated that whole
it was a
3.5 quarters.
That was a blowout.
They came close to the end of the game.
What was the score of the game?
What was it? 34-28,
29. Okay, and they had the ball on the 7 or 8 yard line, and Colin Kaepernick overthrew a ball. Okay?
Right.
Yeah, right.
I get it.
Right.
But the game was
he
like
was 34-7
at halftime.
And they were talking about him and Russell Wilson being the next big quarterback. Remember that, Speedy? Yep. They had the commercials with him and playing for the Madden games.
Yeah.
Marketable.
Loser shaves the eyebrow,
Yes.
He's marketable.
Yeah. Marketable.
I'm not denying
what are you talking about?
He's
he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league at one point. He was.
Not in my eyes.
Your eyes. But in the NFL fan, Colin Kaepernick at one point was at the top of his game. And what the NFL did to him was despicable.
But what did they do to him?
They suspended him. They exiled him. And then they finally were proved to be wrong. They paid him to go away. Nobody knows how much they paid him because he can't announce or say anything on what they paid him. Even on this documentary, he is not permitted to tell anybody what the NFL paid him to go away.
So the Ravens, when they were going to bring the guy in to be a backup or start, depending on who you want to believe, and his girlfriend tweeted what she tweeted, basically saying that the Raven, whatever about the Raven organization, and then that thing blew up. That's the NFL's fault.
So you're going to sit here.
The private workout they held. He screwed up. He screwed up.
Tyler, I'm gonna explain something to you. Even if he threw well at those private workouts, he wasn't
showed up out of shape.
He wasn't going to get. He knew he wasn't getting a job.
That's bullshit.
It was a game. The NFL purposely did that.
Jay-Z purposely did that?
Absolutely.
So the NFL brought in Jay-Z to show that there's not a racial problem. We care about racial divide.
Absolutely.
We care about all that, right?
Absolutely.
And Jay-Z took that job, and Jay-Z said, just give him a bogus workout.
What did they give Jay-Z? $20 million?
Who knows?
To pick the singers, the artist that is going to play at the Super Bowl. That's what they did. But that's what he's doing.
Jay-Z and even Stephen A. Smith came out first.
Like he needs $20 million, a multi-billionaire.
I understand. But what even Stephen A. said, he knew about the workout. He helped orchestrate the workout. So it had nothing to do with...
He didn't play for 3 years, Tyler. Playing at a collegiate sport is completely different than playing a professional sport with the best players in the world. He is not going to...
If you wanted to be an NFL quarterback... If you wanted to be an NFL quarterback that bad for 3 years, you would have at least came in shape.
No, you wouldn't. Not when the NFL was doing the things that they were, and they weren't letting you go to any of the NFL. He couldn't go to the Super Bowl to talk to the press. He couldn't talk to anybody.
Why would I want you at the Super Bowl? You're unemployed.
Unemployed. Because they put him in that situation. And then when they put him in that situation and they finally proved that he proved it to them that they were wrong, they paid him and then they gave him these private workouts. He knew he wasn't going to make a team. He knew no NFL team. Even if he threw the ball well, he wasn't going to make those teams. There was no way in hell he was making any NFL team. The fact was the NFL was trying to sell that to make it seem like they weren't bad guys. And they were. It was wrong for what the NFL did. And you sitting here and thinking that Goodell was being nice.
No, I don't think the NFL is innocent by any means. But to say that Colin Kaepernick did not have a shot at getting a job is ridiculous.
Read what everybody's saying, Speedy.
Carl says, Zerline missed that because I have him as one of my kickers. Look at the game before the lights went out, Tyler. That was over 3 years later with Kaepernick. Ben says NFL set up Kaepernick.
After the lights came back on is when the Ravens sucked.
Just let him finish, and then you can talk.
Carl says, you can't say he was blackballed, Tyler. There were so many teams that could have gone with him as an improvement, and they didn't. And Ben says, Errol # nailed it. And Carl says he didn't have a shot, Tyler.
There you go. Speak up. You're going to sit there quietly.
No, you told me to shut up and let him speak,
All right,
so I let him speak.
You wait like 5 seconds to speak.
Because I thought you had something to say. You always got something to say.
No, I'm letting you speak.
So here we go. If you're blackballed, the NFL would have never caved at all. They would have said, that's not an issue. Everyone's got their head so far up their own tuckuses about this. I'm taking your word. It's not even funny. Kaepernick got benched, okay? Got benched. The Niners did not come out and cut him. They benched him because he wasn't playing well. Stop giving me he's a Super Bowl quarterback. He went to 1 Super Bowl. How many quarterbacks can we name right now that have been to 1 Super Bowl, and that was it?
He was 1 play away from winning a Super Bowl.
That's fantastic.
And he was 1 play away from being the MVP of that Super Bowl. Go look at his numbers. Go look at his numbers.
I'd have to remember the game. I can't say that definitively.
Speedy, go pick up his numbers. Go find the numbers of Colin Kaepernick.
I really don't care what the numbers are.
But
so anyway,
they give it to the quarterback no matter what. Tom Brady got the MVP when
Julian
he
Edelman won it 2 years ago.
That's great. That's great.
What do you mean?
Tom Brady has won it when he's thrown 200 yards. 200 yards. Go ahead.
All of his MVPs were deserved. So anyway.
Yeah, okay. You're on drugs.
All of his Super Bowl MVPs
no,
were
they
deserved.
weren't.
Oh, absolutely.
No, they weren't. Seattle, you think you should have won the Super Bowl MVP? Well, no.
That's not Brady.
Brady won the Super Bowl MVP?
Yes, absolutely. They don't win that game without Brady.
Oh, God.
They don't.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
You're crazy.
Go ahead.
Absolutely insane.
Spit out what you were saying.
I'm trying to. If you would stop talking. When you're done talking, I'll talk.
Tyler, all you've been doing is talking, and you're going all around the subject of what we're talking about.
Because it's really cut.
Because
really
you keep talking about Tom Brady. This has nothing to do with
Tom Brady.
Yeah, because Tom Brady shouldn't have gotten half their MVPs that he got in the Super Bowl. Let's be honest.
Kaepernick was 16 of 28 for 302 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He had 7 rushes for 62 yards and a touchdown.
MVP. He would have been the MVP of that game.
I
don't think so.
I would have to look at
those numbers. Those numbers are better than 2 or 3 of Tom Brady's Super Bowl MVPs. You could go to his MVPs. They had 2 really good Super Bowls. He's had 3. The two giant Super Bowls that he completely bombed. Okay, so just speak and finish up what you were saying.
Yeah, bombed.
Go ahead.
Go
ahead.
Pass.
Are you speaking? What are you saying? Or I'm going to cut in and just completely outrule you on this because
you're not outruling anything. It's common sense.
If
they blackballed him, he would not be able to be mentioned. He was mentioned on every freaking telecast you could have possibly mentioned. If he was blackballed, they would have never paid him anything. And quite frankly, if you really, really think about it, he really just his film on the sideline, and that's why his play declined. He didn't take a knee for no social standing, because why would you support Fidel Castro and say blah, blah, blah,
Greg
and then not even
missed
vote?
that again. He missed an easy kick.
Not looking good, Carl.
So anyway, yeah, Greg Zerline, great kicker. Yeah, he's looking around. Great. There's no blackballing. Was he blackballed? Maybe. Maybe he was. But the fact, maybe. All I know, if he was blackballed, the Niners would have cut him. And he would not have played the full year and then not found a job. His play declined. Stop bringing up Super Bowls. At the time, he's lucky he even started.
Tyler, how old was he when he was blackballed?
25, 26.
And you think his play declined? When he was, at one point, one of the best young quarterbacks in all of the NFL?
Cam Newton's what, 30? Yeah. 31?
Cam Newton's shoulder went out. How many times do we have to say this?
So what?
Colin Kaepernick's shoulder was not hurt. He never tore his ACL.
Newton went to a Super Bowl.
And Colin Kaepernick was one of those quarterbacks, first mobile quarterbacks since Aaron Rodgers that really became that player. They thought that Colin Kaepernick at one point was going to be better than Russell Wilson.
That's crazy.
Really? Really? Because there was a lot of people that thought that.
There were
a lot of people saying that.
I never thought it, but there were people.
There were a lot of people saying that. Why? Now it's crazy. But at one point it wasn't crazy. And he got blackballed.
He wasn't an accurate passer.
Oh, my God, Tyler. You don't have to. Accurate. Either is your guy over there for the Ravens, and he won an MVP.
I don't like Lamar Jackson.
Very good. He won an MVP, right?
Yeah, as a runner.
No.
So did Cam Newton.
He threw over 3,500 yards that year that he won the MVP. And he ran 1,000 yards.
3,500 yards.
3,500 yards.
Okay.
He did.
That's probably one of the lowest totals in recent history of the Super.
So if you run 1,000 yards and throw 3,500 yards, that's not impressive?
It is impressive.
All right. So what are you saying?
I can assure you that somebody else deserves it.
So what are you saying? I'm lost here.
I don't know what you're saying. You brought up Lamar Jackson. I'm not bringing up Lamar Jackson.
For what you're
Kaepernick
saying,
got lost because Kaepernick wasn't that great of a quarterback.
You're wrong. Tyler,
what do you mean?
You're wrong, Tyler.
We don't see quarterbacks decline. You just said Cam Newton declined overnight.
First of all, he did.
And Cam Newton was better at his height than Colin Kaepernick.
Everybody knows what happened to Colin Kaepernick. Their coach, obviously, Jim Harbaugh left, who helped Alex Smith develop his skill, and then obviously he went to Alex Smith because of Colin Kaepernick, went to Kansas City and helped Kansas City really grow that team and build that team with Andy Reid before obviously Patrick Mahomes came into the mix. And by the way, Colin Kaepernick was the next big thing. He was one of the top 4 or 5 young quarterbacks in the league that everybody was talking about him being the next big superstar in the league. Now, my argument to you is that to tell me and sit here today and tell me that Colin Kaepernick, not only that he was blackballed, the fact that they gave him a chance to go and play in front of a bunch of teams where he had no chance making it. That's why he wasn't in shape.
How did he have no chance?
Again, the NFL made that to make it seem like they weren't. They were giving him another opportunity to make for 3 years. If you're not playing, yes, I am. And if you're not playing 3 years of NFL football, you might as well tell your career to be over.
Okay, then so why fight for it?
Fight for what?
Kaepernick wanted the workout.
Do you know why Colin Kaepernick wanted the workout?
Why?
But why do you think?
Publicity,
press
his
coverage,
Nike ad,
his documentary.
Yeah.
That's
sure.
right. That's why he did it, because he's going to make. And when you watch that documentary,
and
when
he's
you
got
watch that
people
documentary,
like you by the strings of their neck.
Get out of here.
What do you mean? You just admitted to it.
No, I'm telling you.
You just said that he deserves a job in the NFL, and then in the same breath said he held a workout not wanting the job. He wanted it for press conference.
No, he knew he wasn't going to get it. Not that he didn't want the job. He knew he wasn't going to make a team even if he threw the ball.
And then when the Ravens were going to bring him in and work him out, and his girlfriend made a big stink about it, then why was that not covered?
Ravens weren't going to take him either.
Okay.
They had no interest in taking him. You're on drugs.
Ben says he was just shy of getting to the Super Bowl, and the next season he's not a good player, Tyler. That's insane. He was blackballed. Carl says, wow, Tyler, you were so off base. Niners did cut him. Snug says, the Cowboys are killing it. The kick is up. Clang, no good. Carl says, meant to say the Niners were going to cut him. The workout was 3 years later,
again?
Tyler. Ben says turnover. Carl says Jesus. And Snug says the Bucs are desperately trying to give the game away.
I told you guys what's going to happen in this game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will lose this game.
There was an interception thrown because Leonard Fournette dropped a screen pass and it fell into Trayvon Diggs' lap.
And by the way, I wasn't the first person that thought this was going to happen. Jeff from Tampa was the guy that really said that this is a game that they could lose. But getting back into that, and we brought Kaepernick back into this conversation because the vaccination, the NFL is trying to spin the wheel, make the deal. They want to be the first organization, the first professional sport to mandate these vaccine shots, or if they don't take the vaccination, they can suspend them, blackball them, or they can lose their opportunity to play professional football for the rest of their careers, or obviously forfeit for their other players on their team if they play and they don't get the vaccination. I think what the NFL is doing is an absolute catastrophe, and I brought up Colin Kaepernick because what they did to Colin Kaepernick was absolutely horrendous. They were wrong. They paid him, and by the way, when they paid him, before he took the money that they gave him, he had to sign a contract not to reveal how much money they paid him to go away, because they paid him a lot of money. I don't know how much it was. I think Jeff told me at one point he heard it was between 25 and 30 million, and there are other people that told me it was a little bit more than that. But the fact is that he can't go and he can't speak up. He can't talk on his documentary about how much the NFL gave him is a complete joke. And the NFL giving him an opportunity to throw the ball in front of teams was another selling point, not only for themselves, to make themselves not look as bad, because they got ransacked. They got killed when Colin Kaepernick was suspended and blackballed for 3 years. Do you know how many people were complaining and attacking the situation of what they did to that kid? And look at the kid. I don't care what you say, Tyler. He deserved another opportunity. There are other players like Greg Hardy that got his job after almost killing his girlfriend, drowning her in a toilet bowl, beating the crap out of her, okay? And he's playing NFL football with Dallas the next year after that, and he wasn't really suspended. What, he suspended for 2 games? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, it was so stupid the first year. Then I think 6 games he got the second year. But it was like right after the Panthers cut him for that, and he was a nice pass rusher with the Panthers. The Cowboys signed him like a week later or something like that.